Well, a few days on after that amazing Xbox event, and now a little bit of time has passed, and people are starting to kind of come down a little bit. We're starting to see just how successful their developer direct was and the idea. And Phil Spencer just did an interview with one of the biggest publications, which is clearly IGN, and I think that went over extremely well. And Phil had a lot of cool things to say. He doesn't really pull any punches about Xbox's failures and failings and things like that, so I think that's really cool. And I've always thought that it kind of takes guts to go out there and take the blame and, you know, admit wrongdoings and things like that. Obviously, Microsoft has a long way to go, but I think they've started doing the right things to kind of have things kind of work out for them at the end of the day. Like Microsoft, I feel, listen, that's not a knock on PlayStation. I know I make some jokes and stuff. PlayStation's fine for right now. PlayStation's just kind of stuck more in the old way of thinking, and some of their newer ways of thinking are just rip-offs of what Xbox does. So it's sort of a weird spot for them. But in the short term, they're going to be fine right where they're at. I want to get into this interview, though, and talk about Phil's talking points, very much about the future of Xbox and the now. So stick around. What's up, everybody? Crap Gamer here with Crap Gamer Reviews, back with yet another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I certainly do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. I'm looking to get 100 likes on the videos, as that is my own personal goal for each of the ones that I do, and it would be just much appreciated if you all could do that and work that out for me. I just would love that. You know, I know it's a stupid goal or whatever, but it's my goal. So, you know, if you could help me out, that would be awesome. Now, Phil did this interview, and I thought it went really well. You know, Phil has a good way of speaking about himself, but also, you know, the thing that Phil kind of gets Phil in trouble with is being too much Phil. No, I'm just kidding. Well, obviously, in my opinion, Phil tends to be a little bit cagey with some answers, but you have to be a little bit, right? You have to be a little bit like that with some of the things that you're talking about, because, you know, people at the end of the day are going to feel one way or the other. You can't give too much away is the main way that I kind of look about things, right? Like, you can't like share everything, but you also have to keep people on the hook a little bit. Obviously, Xbox couldn't imagine where it would be at right now. They laid out their roadmap for the current generation, and things kind of changed a little bit. Speaking with IGN in a brand new interview following this week's Developer Direct, Xbox CEO Phil Spencer addressed many of the troubles, including recent layoffs and the uncertain status of 343. He acknowledged Xbox's disappointing 2022, which saw virtually no major releases. He said, and I quote, "Our commitment to our fans is what we need to have a steady release of great games that people can play on our platform. And we didn't do enough of that in 2022, there's no doubt. And fundamentally, that's on me. I'm the head of the business." During the interview, Phil Spencer also looked ahead to 2023, saying that it was important to show games, to show dates in the recent Developer Direct, and talk more about Xbox's summer showcase plan, though he won't say one way or another whether Xbox will participate in the show. And he talked about the ongoing battle around Xbox's Activision Blizzard acquisition, which he describes as a learning experience. Now, asked whether this year will be a critical year for Xbox, Spencer said in a very cagey way, every year is critical. Nevertheless, he also said he feels good about Xbox's momentum. He said further, and I quote, "When I think about the rest of the work that we're doing this year, it's going to be an exciting year. From a production standpoint, we're coming out of the COVID at home, and I think we've got a better working rhythm as an industry, and things are going on, and I'm excited about it." Now, this is very interesting stuff, you know, because they're talking about stuff, even like the Hi-Fi Rush stuff. He said, Hi-Fi Rush has been getting a lot of really positive buzz on the media, not the least because it was a shadow drop, which was interesting. Is that something we can expect from Xbox going forward? And Phil Spencer confirms it. He said, yeah, the shadow drop, it seems like it worked really well this time. It's not a thing that we've done a ton of. This was an idea from the team. They've been playing the game, felt good about their launch date and some of the early signals on quality, and said, hey, it would just be a fun to be able to launch this during the Developer Direct and say, play it now. So we rolled with that. We're always learning, always listening, and seem to always like the community responding well, which I think is a good signal. this was another question that he got. When watching the stream, I thought to myself, wow, Hi-Fi Rush looks fantastic. Absolutely love the art. It's really popping out to me. I'm going to keep a note on it when it comes out. And then they said, no, you can play it right now. And instantly it made me want to go and just download it. I think a lot of people agreed. And Phil said, I love Hi-Fi Rush. I love the way it looks. I love the music. One of the games I'd always wanted to get. We weren't able to land it in our backwards compatibility program was Jet Set Radio Future. I thought it would be fantastic to be able to have that game come back. And definitely it's a different kind of game, but the same vibe. So looking at Tango Gameworks, just watching it as it evolved over the last couple of years, I'm really happy where it came from. They were able to get some of the good licensed tracks in the game. The gameplay is really fun and unique, and I think it looks just striking. It was a good mix. I was happy with diversity of all the games, the content that we had, the great games that we had in the Direct. I think Hi-Fi Rush is definitely showing itself to be one of the highlights of the show. When talking about momentum in 2022, he said, I think it's a little bit different internally because we obviously know that we have a developer direct. We know what content we're building. We already know what we're going to be doing in June in our showcase, but our commitment to our fans is that we need to have a steady release of great games that people can play, and we didn't do that in 2022. That's my fault. The commitment we have to our customers to continue to deliver great games is something that I take seriously. The team takes seriously, and 2022 was too light in games. So we're excited about getting on to roll into 2023, have the Direct. I felt really good about the games that we showed, and also knowing that Starfield is a game that we'd like to be able to highlight in its own show and just start off 2023 with good momentum. And like they said, they just needed that. So they're talking about all this kind of stuff. Like, I do think that a lot of people kind of lose out on the idea of what momentum is, and they talk about releasing Redfall and Starfield and Forza, and it's going to be a good, kind of time for Xbox. He says, I hesitate to go ahead and get ahead of the launches just because I know there's some, and rightfully some, fatigue in the community about us saying, hey, just wait until this or wait until then. So that was one of the reasons it was nice to be able to launch Hi-Fi Rush during the show, to show that we can launch. And I look at things like Pentiment, which came out in November, as a really high quality game, but there has to be more. And when I look at Minecraft Legends, when I look at Redfall, I look at the work we're doing at Forza, one of my favorite franchises, Elder Scrolls Online, things that we showed. I think it was important for us to show games and to show dates. I know there are some questions on the date about Forza just because we revealed the year. Everybody should know that the quality that Turn 10 puts in the Forza Motorsport, if you look historically, it's going to be there in this game. That's the thing. First and foremost is most important, and we will come out with a date, no doubt, when we're a little bit closer, but we just wanted to reaffirm people that this is a 2023 game. And as you said, showing games and gameplay with those things is given the solid dates is very, very important as well. He also mentioned that 343 and Halo are critically important for Xbox, which I thought was very interesting as well. When talking about some of the stuff that they were kind of interested in, and Phil himself, I think that, Xbox, I think, is on the right track, and I think he really kind of thinks that it's on the right track as well. When talking about 343, says, I think sometimes he gets a little bit lost in the discussion about Halo and 343, which will always be iconic for Xbox. It's just the launch of Halo Infinite a little over a year ago, and the quality of execution that the team put into the game, I thought it was fantastic. Obviously, we're talking about the following year, and I think that there are some missteps that we made as a team, absolutely, but I don't want to take away from the fact that the team did a really good job delivering a great Halo game. I think reviewers commented on that. We definitely saw players play last year, playing the success that the game had, and at the same time, when we launched the game, we know we need to make some commitments to people about the content updates and our timing on those and the quality. We didn't hit our own bar for doing that. I believe in the team that's there, Pierre and the leadership team, and the plan that they have. Obviously, 343 Studio head, he's the studio head now. He's been on Halo for a long time. He's worked on Halo the Master Chief Collection. He's done some great work there. The team has a very good plan. What we're doing now is we want to make sure that leadership team is set up with the flexibility to build the plan that they need, and Halo will remain critically important to what Xbox is doing, and 343 is critically important to the success of Halo in terms of studio support and things like that. That's just part of development and having other partners help us, but the heart and soul of Halo is 343, the team that's there, and I have the utmost confidence in them. So, listen, it's a really good interview. I'm going to link it. I thought Phil did a good job discussing it. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Sounds like good news, but he takes blame, which I think is also important. Let me know what you guys think. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, crap gamer 'em up. Crap gamer out.